Want to get in the Christmas spirit and make a decorative sign? We'll show you how after this. I'm Kyle with Adventures at Home, and in today's video we're going to make this wonderful Christmas sign. All you're going to need is some pine board, some stick-on vinyl, and some spray paint. Here at Adventures at Home, we love all things DIY, and we post new tutorial videos weekly. So if you're like us and you love DIY, consider subscribing. Now let's get into the video. So our first step is going to be cutting our pine board down to size. We are going to be using edge-glued pine for this project, and our finished dimensions that we're going to end up cutting this down to is 10 inches by 24 inches. But of course, just cut the board down to whatever size fits your needs. After our board is cut down to size, we're going to paint it right away. We're not going to sand it all. Actually, all of the sanding we're going to do is going to be after we've applied the spray paint, and you guys will see the finish that we're going to end up getting by doing it this way, and it's the look we want. We are going to be using an almond colored spray paint. It's a little bit hard to tell in the video, but we didn't want a bright white color. We wanted a little bit of an off-white, and after sanding, the almond really matches the exposed pine that's going to show through well. Now, after we've coated both sides of our board with paint, we're going to wait for that to dry, and while we're waiting for that, we can start to cut out our vinyl design. We are going to be using our Cricut Maker for this project, but of course you can always just use a scissors and a hobby knife and achieve the same exact results. We did make the graphic out of black vinyl, and we're going to be making the text out of red vinyl, so we're going to go ahead and get both of those cut out now. Now that our vinyl's cut out and everything is dry, we're going to sand everything down on this board. What we're trying to do is get the wood grain to show through here a little bit, so we just started with some 320 grit sandpaper, and we just removed the top layer of paint until everything is smooth and you can see the grain through the paint. It takes a little bit of elbow grease, but the results are worth it. While I'm working on this, I just wanted to remind you guys about our website and our other social media sites. You can find all of our projects categorized on adventuresathomellc.com. We'd also like to connect with you on Instagram and Facebook. We post there daily, and it's a great way to connect with us. And it's also a great way for you to share some of your project ideas with us. And if we choose to use one of your smaller projects and build it in our videos, we're going to try and do our best to send you that project for free. We can't wait to connect with you. Now we're getting close to being done, and I wish you guys could see a little bit better on the video, but it's a little bit hard to see, but about half of the grain of the wood is showing through the paint, and it really has a great finish to it, especially because the pine closely matches the color of the almond paint that's showing through. Now we can prep the board for the vinyl to be put on, and we're going to do that by wiping everything down with a tack cloth to remove any of the extra dust. Any extra dust that's left on the board will cause the vinyl to have adhesion problems. So take your time here and use the tack cloth to get rid of any of the sanding dust left on the board. Now that our board is prepped and our vinyl is prepped, we can go ahead and start putting the vinyl on the board. Because we're working with large graphics here, it's definitely helpful to have a second hand to help line everything up. And it's always a good idea to use the grid marks on the transfer tape to make some marks on the board so you can get the decal lined up right the first time. Once you have the vinyl lined up on the board where you want it to go, press down the vinyl using a scraper tool or some such tool. Even a plastic putty knife will work good for this. Make sure to work from the center of the graphic out to work all of the air bubbles out from underneath the vinyl. Once that's complete, you can start removing the transfer tape. This is kind of a slow process as the transfer tape will stick and start to pull up the vinyl, but just take your time and work from one end to the other and you'll have your graphic on the board in no time. After you have the transfer tape removed, just take the time to look over the vinyl quick and push out any air bubbles that may be left. Now that we have the graphic done, we can move on to working on the lettering at the bottom of the board.
With the lettering, it's really important to take the extra time to press down really well with the scraper tool to get all of the lettering adhered to the board, because you are going to have less adhesive area with the lettering. It isn't going to stick as well to the board when you're trying to remove the transfer tape. Now we can remove the transfer tape, moving from one corner to the other, taking our time to ensure that the lettering has good adhesion to the board beneath it. Now we can move on to the back of the board, and we're just going to apply our logo in the same way we did the vinyl on the front. Now that we have all the vinyl on our board, we can apply a couple of coats of clear coat to all sides of the board. The clear coat does two things. It protects the paint from fading on the board and the vinyl, as well as it ensures that you have an even protective coat over that, and it'll help the vinyl from peeling up in the future. Once a clear coat has had time to dry, the last step that we have is to install our sawtooth hanger on the back. One really easy way to do this is to lay a speed square down on the edge of the board where you want it to be, and this ensures that the sawtooth hanger is going to be level on the back of the board. Then you can take a pin punch and start the holes for the nails. Drop the nails into the holes created by the pin punch and tap them into place. And the only last step that I usually like to do is to take a nail set and just finish them off, and this will round the heads over a little bit and ensure that they don't come out.
So there you have it, a relatively simple and easy way to make a great looking Christmas decoration. It didn't take too much work, and the end product turned out really well. If you like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button down below, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that as well, and ring the bell. That way you're notified when our next video posts. And we'd also like to hear comments from you down below on what any of our other project ideas could be. And until next video, I'm Kyle, helping you create your own adventure at home.